have always turned a blind eye when it comes to politics.
It is tough times ahead for Kenyans as government proposes new taxes on goods and services in a bid to raise additional billions.
I had not told anyone I'm going to the streets.
This is our country. We will fight and die like our ancestors did.
This is the first time when I was actually scared of going close.
It felt like the beginning of a revolution. It's something that will be talked about in history books.
Now, it is tough times ahead for Kenyans as government proposes new taxes on goods and services in a bid to raise additional billions to finance the 2024-2025 budget.
Allow me to highlight tax policy measures proposed in the Finance Bill 2024. I will begin with the proposed amendments to the Income Tax Act, followed by Value-Added Tax, Excise Duty Act, Tax Procedures Act, and miscellaneous fees and levies.
Say something?
Hello.
Treasury is proposing 16% value-added tax on bread after removing a common breakfast favorite from the exempt category. The move will drive up the cost of bread for consumers.
The government appears to have taken a hardline stance regarding the ongoing protests against the Finance Bill 2024, with a section of leaders dismissing it as fake, misguided, and propagated by the middle class who have no experience of hardship.
This is our country. We will fight and die like our ancestors did. You are not going to scare any of us. We are ready to die.
Mr. Speaker, I am saying this because I've been sitting here today listening patiently to the nail talking about sanitary towels that is in the finance bill. And they're speaking with authority. When we have taxmen in ours, don't speak on our issues as women.
I am not a very political person. I have always turned a blind eye when it comes to politics because at some point, and ignorance is no defense, we did not know enough to care.
I had not told anyone I'm going to the streets. I had not even had any conversation with anyone about the finance bill. What made me come for the protests is, I believe everyone has their own personal reasons. And for mine, it was just anger at how everything was going. Not one, not two, not three people were complaining about it. So many people, everyone was complaining about it. And the person who was not complaining about it just didn't know what was happening.
There's a finance bill that's passed every single year. The clauses in that bill and how they plan to raise money and taxes through that bill is what will be used in the financial year. But the one that was the Finance Bill 2024 and even 2023 had some of the craziest clauses we've ever seen. All of us were just like, okay, what is this? You can't just raise all these taxes out of nowhere and we can't ask questions about them.
95% of menstruating girls in Kenya missed 1 to 3 days of school.
We already have a menstrual poverty crisis. We already have period poverty in this country. And taxation of sanitary towels for me looked like a whip back on the women's backs.
So, you've been buying a packet of pads at what? 80 shillings, right? It's set to go up 96 shillings. That's a 20% increase in price.
We're looking at essentially a crisis whereby we're having young women or
women at large in all their diversity not being able to necessarily purchase or have availability of sanitary towel, or rather what we call wash, which is also sanitation and water.
Period poverty is not just about entirely lacking the disposable pads. It's about not even knowing there are other options that you could use for your periods. And that is where education and awareness comes in. So this is a reusable pad, and here, so this fabric is very, very soft to make sure that it does not hurt a girl's vagina. And then inside, we have an absorbent material made of cotton again. And then this is just a closing for it. It has to look very nice because if you're giving a girl something, make sure it's cute. This is called a shield. So the shield got too heavy. It's made of very simple material that has a leak-proof fabric inside it. It comes with a liner. A liner is made of cotton, flannel. For this particular pad, the only thing we have to remove is this, tampons. Is it recommended for very young girls? The answer is no, because of hygiene issues. But are they safe period products when used correctly? Yes, they are. Menstrual cups. I have 3 different menstrual cups with me here. Sadly enough, we have so many girls across the country who cannot afford sanitary towels. And some of the things they do is, number 1, they use mattresses. Unaona ile kitu ya mattress ya ndani, unakata hiyo, then unaeka kwa panty. Number 2, unaona ukichinja kuku, hizo manyoya zake, those feathers. There are some girls who collect them and put them on the panty together, ndio ziweze kunyonya hiyo damu. Other communities have girls sitting down under the sun for a whole day so that their period can be collected by the sand. And then we also have, unfortunately, transactional sex for pads. Some women and girls are actually very vulnerable. They can't buy pads by themselves. They have to depend on their husbands or boyfriends or even just like a male figure in their lives. And sometimes these people are abusive and they take advantage of their situations.
What also took me to the streets was that the medicine I was using as an endometriosis patient became harder and harder to find after my surgery. This was a monthly pill I was taking, and it came from, not finding it in some hospitals to now, having to go to pharmacies, walk the streets. And then now just being told, even from the most, the biggest pharmacies, like, yeah, it's not available. I did my research and found out that the company that was manufacturing it left the country, along with other pharmaceutical manufacturers, citing difficulty in, doing business in this particular region.
It was an omnibus bill, meaning it had so many different clauses about so many different things, introducing so many different taxes in many different industries, right? So every single person in those industries, plus regular Kenyans, was slotted into those taxes somehow.
Could you explain what is endometriosis?
Endometriosis is a condition in where the lining that is inside the uterus now grows outside the uterus. It continues growing, covering organs until it can reach the lungs, it can reach the eyes, it goes as far as, even the fingernails in some extreme cases. This condition is chronic, it has no treatment. It's just managing the symptoms. Because as the lining of a uterus peels, wherever it's grown over, it's going to peel. So if it's grown over your abdomen or your bladder or your intestines, it'll peel just like it would inside the uterine wall.
I guess, first of all, physically, what's the sensation of having this condition?
Chronic pain, discomfort, torsion and twisting. Because in my case, it had grown over my intestines. So it was causing twisting and lesions that I could feel on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, there's the loss of a lot of blood. So of course it leads to anemia and the weakening of my immune system. It affected my social life. in that because half the month, or maybe let's say a third of the month, was spent bleeding, and then another third was spent now trying to recover from that heavy period, I found that I didn't have energy for anything. No, you're also losing a lot of blood. You're in pain all the time. So being invited out or going to meet friends or doing any physical activity felt like such a chore. I felt like I took so much from me. Just now is when I'm trying to recover those years back.
The person I put on a ballot can directly affect issues that affect me. My member of parliament voted yes for the finance bill. So he intentionally went there and said, it is okay for Ivy to not have access to period products.
There's absolutely no fear now more than ever, because centrally we're in a space where people want better and people know and are aware that they deserve better, and I think that's what people are asking for, and especially for women.
Today, young, new, energetic, peaceful, unarmed and resilient protesters converted online rage to boots on the ground in day-long demonstrations against the Finance Bill 2024.
Anti-government protests in Nairobi and Mombasa have been populated by young men and women who for the very first time are taking a stand against what they feel as unjust practices by government.
I think as women, we're conditioned to be a bit passive in that we can be like, the men will go fight for us. We can just stay home and take care of ourselves. But seeing women, put themselves out there and put themselves at risk. I think completely changed perceptions, and I hope it would be inspirational for the young girls.
Reject finance bill! Reject that bill! Reject! You reject your finance bill! Reject that bill! Reject finance bill! Wanted to arrest the one on that
Ibiro ira ikwayo namba ipimo via obet nadikeno michuni gihera ichuni gisimu owada poda nyako
It was exhilarating. It was a beautiful moment.
It felt like the beginning of a revolution, which is exactly what it was. It's something that will be talked about in history books.
The grace and the resilience that these young people brought to that ground could be felt. You didn't have to be in town that day to understand that the whole country was in CBD protesting. I felt like this was 1963 and us fighting for our independence.
We had so many young people in town. I have never seen so many young people in town. All of them holding their flags up and just speaking in one voice and documenting. Some have cameras, some have phones. And it was also ironic because I saw people take selfies with riot police, but who knew that that casual atmosphere was about to change? There's a group that started marching towards Parliament Road. And for me, my approach to documenting a protest is you go where the action is at, right? Where the most action is at.
The energies around that time is not the energies whereby let's have a soft dialogue or whatever. It's crazy. I mean, the temperature is like it's brewing higher and higher and higher.
Because I was following the protesters who were demonstrating at that GPO area, I followed them towards that Cardinal Otunga side. Just before we got to that roundabout in Parliament, that's when we started hearing gunshots.
Where were you when kind of those bus shots rang out in front of Parliament?
I was there, but towards, KCC parking. Then the first shots rang out. I had some guys going, ni raba zizo, tuendelee. Then the first couple of people started running backwards like a wave. And then I had, hizo ni lives, and someone grabbed me and pushed me down. Told me, get down. So I got down and we were wondering what the hell is going on. This guy, total stranger, grabbed my hand and just yanked me and told me, as in, ni live wana shutabu inama.
Now, there's a different sound for how tear gas sounds when it's lobbed and how a bullet sounds when it's fired. This is the first time where now I was actually scared of going close. This is the first time fear actually got into me because if you've also shot around Parliament, you know the kind of security that is there.
I didn't make it to Parliament because I think my body just knew this was a bad day. My body knew it was a bad day. I had like muscle cramps on my thighs and I was not able to walk. I was literally limping.
I was between the police and the protesters at that moment. And that's where things started really boiling. I remember that there was a parliamentary session live at that time.
I vote yes.
So the crowd is charging towards Parliament and the police are between them and also on this other side, right? And then I remember 3 people were shot, but one was shot right before me. I remember there were 2 other protesters who had been shot and then people lost their minds.